Right.
Right.
I wouldn't be able to see shit.
All right, I'm Pat.
Hey, I'm Jeffrey.
I can't see shit either.
No, it just comes with the territory, and it just kind of comes and goes throughout the day, and sometimes it's all right. Yeah, I told him, I was like, look, I look at the computer screen a lot, and my glasses kind of pinch on the sides of my head. That's how they all have to do that.
Right.
Occasionally get headaches, and I'm like, it's time for me to switch over. I don't want to do this anymore. Like, no problem. Go ahead and go with these. They're going to be fantastic. I'm like, these aren't fantastic.
These are the lies. It's all lies.
It's all lies. It's all lies.
Mm.
I'm so sick of complaining, but there's so many things to complain about, Patrick.
There's quite a few things to complain about. So start with your lawn. So what did your city letter say in it? So mow your shit, otherwise we're gonna burn down your house. Or
Yeah, it's like we'll be back in 10 days to make sure that you did what we said. I mean it's a weak threat overall, but I don't like it. I've gotten these before, so if you have weeds that are 9 inches or higher or whatever, and they're within if they're within like 9 inches of the sidewalk, then you're legally required to handle these things, or they start sending you nasty letters.
Yeah. And this is the section, when they redid that street, I noticed that in my neighborhood, there's a couple, like, the big street, Austin Bluffs going up there. There's a bunch of the curbs that they just paved.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot when they redid it. And so it was just kind of like, why didn't they do that to your street, Jeff?
I
so
have
then
no
you
idea.
didn't have to fuck with the weeds.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. Either I mean, it's just absolutely bizarre because it's like, I don't own the fucking sidewalk. This is back behind my house. I can guarantee you that's not part of my property, right? I can guarantee you I go on the plan, it says you own this.
Yeah.
I don't own that shit.
I doubt it, yeah.
They're like, no, you're responsible for this on the outside. And I can tell you what it is. Okay, so this is one of the things that got destroyed when that fucking lunatic, drunk ass, fucking high dickhead destroyed my my backyard.
Mm-hmm.
Is I have a cable box back there.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Your cable went out immediately, didn't it? Yeah.
Yep. So I guarantee you the people that complain are like when the cable people have to come out there and they're like, oh my god, there's sunflowers out here. It's like,
there's bees.
fuck you. So then, yeah, they're gonna sit there and complain to the city. It's like, you guys need to take care of this. It's ridiculous. You walk anywhere around here, all the sidewalks are just like this, right?
Yeah. So it's that, and it's probably those guys who roll around in the green enforcement vehicles.
I know.
And and since the police station is right over fucking there,
Fucking busy
I
bodies.
know, man. That's why I like to stay off the street if I can, man. So just because I always see cops on it, man. So fortunately, they're always a little bit too busy trying to get somewhere or trying to get back, so they don't really mess with you. But the last time I was pulled over in town was on the street. So yeah.
For what?
It's speeding. That was a long time ago. So I've been pulled over. Man, the photocop is the thing that fucking nails me. So
I say, like, you don't seem like that much of a speeder anymore.
This was a long time ago.
Yeah.
This was a long time. This was at least 2 cars ago.
I say, when was the last time you needed to get somewhere in a hurry?
It's been a while.
Yeah. We're not that guy anymore,
No,
man.
We're not that guy. No, the photocop nailed me again. So
again?
Yeah, it's gotten me like 3 fucking times. So this is the one up by my mom's house. And you're allowed to turn right on red.
Yeah.
I'm a perpetrator of what's known as the California stop. When it comes,
We all?
I know we all are, but I keep doing it in the same spot where there's a fucking photocop because I'm stupid. So there are tons of those. There's like 30 intersections in town that have the motherfuckers on them now. So they're all over the place. So it's like sink flies. You didn't squish the first one, and so here we are.
Yeah, we're a little bit lax on standing up for things that I would typically think would be immutable in this area. We're losing some of our libertarian side, Patrick. You have to be 21 to buy a gun now.
In Colorado?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So Colorado, I wouldn't say Colorado's a terribly libertarian state. So
We have a contingent.
yeah, most of them around here. So
Right.
yeah. I mean, I was actually reading on that the other day. This state's not even purple anymore. It's blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like way blue. So
I actually I read pretty extensively about the strategy they employed to do that, and it's rather genius.
what, the Democrats?
Yeah.
What'd they do?
Just basically a really sensible form of political infiltration.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll pull up the details on it, but when I read through it, I was like, well, actually, all of this makes sense.
I thought it was just like most cities actually navigated towards blue the older they got. So
Look, there could, all right. Let me just say there's certainly a component of that that's probably true, but what they did was they laid out a series of things that the Democratic Party did, that seemed to be effective.
well, I know the Republican Party. I don't know about in this state, the state party, but I know our local GOP is like, I mean, all they do is fight each other. So
It sounds like
yeah,
it's packed with fucking losers.
yeah. A dad owned a dealership, you know, that kind of guys. Yeah. It really does. So yeah, because that's the whole reason why we got Mayor Yemi now, is because the Republicans couldn't get their shit together. So they were infighting each other. Everybody else was like, knock it off. And then this other guy comes along and he's just like, hey, I'm neither. So, and everybody's like, really? He's like, no, yeah, really, I'm not. I'm like, oh, okay, we'll vote for you, man. Because the two camps of the Republican Party couldn't agree on a fucking candidate. So that's why they split in half. So, and one of them was the guy who had been involved in city government for like 40 fucking years. The other was a lady who was like involved in city government 35 fucking years. So,
I don't know what to tell you, man. It's rather pathetic, but you know it is what it is. I understand that it's with our city the way it is, or our state the way it is. So saith Denver, so saith we all.
correct.
So,
Well, it's not just Denver, it's that whole corridor where your brother used to live. There's more people up there than there are down here, man. So,
oh,
and
what?
that's not even Denver. So, yeah, Loveland, Fort Collins, that whole area. So, Longmont, I think Longmont's actually still a red town, but it kind of looks it too. So,
Yeah, well, of course, I would expect Fort Collins to be.
well, yeah.
And Loveland, I don't know. Loveland's just a street away from Fort Collins, really. I mean, you just
It's
drive
not
down
very
the front
far.
road. It's
Yeah.
it's one area. So
Oh yeah, it's like from 120th north. It's all like one area anymore until you get north of Fort Collins, get towards Wyoming. So
right.
yeah, then it's like, oh, there's cows.
Yeah, once you hit what is that, Weld County?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
Wolf County.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, I guess yeah. So if the Democrats chased all the Republicans out of those areas, man, then the only place that I've seen actually turning red is Pueblo. So
Which is, in hindsight, that's kind of what I would expect.
it kind of makes sense because Pueblo's full of a bunch of people who, just like their idea down there of politics, and it's very similar to kind of what was going on here in some respects, but it goes back
Exactly, yeah.
multiple generations. So so it's everybody gets a ride on the Ferris wheel if you wait around long enough. So kind
Yes.
of thing, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but and they've been fighting for years to try and turn it back into like this steel town, and it's got one of the biggest mills in North America, and employs about a 50th of the people that it did back in the 1980s.
Mm.
And they keep waiting around for the other 49, employees to get hired back, and it's not going to happen, man. So,
I mean, if you think about it, it's actually a great place for it.
it could be, but it's like that's not the kind of manufacturing that people do anymore. You don't do these ginormous, 50,000 employee complexes. So even a Tesla factory's probably got less than 2,000 people in it. So, And so you're going to put that thing where your customers are. You're not going to put it in the middle of nowhere. So
Well, it's not necessarily the middle of nowhere. I mean, this is the thing is like I'd imagine that a lot of this stuff you're gonna cut it and then send it off to California
yeah,
versus Pittsburgh to the East Coast essentially that sort of thing. But I don't know.
I don't know either, man. So,
Like I would be of the impression that if there was a working demand for it and you have people that are willing to work for it, it would be being done right now. There's
probably.
probably a supply and demand situation with that is handling itself, and it's not my goddamn business. If it turns out that later on that hey, if it turns out that we need it, great.
Maybe.
I'm glad to
Yeah.
know that there's a facility there and that those people would benefit from it. But what is their secondary economy now? What is
That's
their
it. There's nothing there, man.
yeah? What is their
It's manufacturing. So they got a bunch of little manufacturers here and there. They tried to get no weed. That blew up.
Hey, you told me about that.
Yeah, that turned out to be a complete sham. So, and it's actually really hard to grow that stuff in Pueblo anyway.
Oh, probably need more water.
It's dry as fuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, you got to greenhouse everything.
Yeah.
There's counties that border it that have much looser water restrictions. So,
There you go.
yeah, it's just, there's all kinds of stuff and I mean, but that town's always been like that, man, ever since I've been associated. I mean, I remember when they were doing all this shit and it was like, oh, we're going to be the biggest windmill manufacturer in the United States. And then, they set up a couple shops and things like that. And they all moved. So, after a little while, it's like, well, we can't upscale here, or demand would dry up and they'd be like, oh, okay, well, it makes no sense for us to manufacture them here if we're installing them all in North Dakota. So let's
Yeah.
go build them in North Dakota, kind of thing. So,
I have seen their work up in North
the
Dakota.
wind farms?
Yeah.
Oh, they're all over the place. In Nebraska, too, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Eastern Colorado, there's a big one down there outside of Pueblo.
Yeah.
So, but, I mean, you build one, they're like, okay, where's the next job? Oh, it's in North Texas. Okay. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So they tried doing that. They tried doing solar panels. So, and it turns out that manufacturing solar panels is ridiculously dirty. So,
Yeah, it's filthy.
yeah, it's absolutely filthy. So, yeah.
No, there's that, and I know for a while there, I know that there was a lot of like consumer mail that used to go out of there. Like,
Oh, really?
yeah, like basically like coupon packs and
Oh, like printing?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. They might have a good printer. I'm not sure.
Well, it's also I mean it's the mail. It's
Yeah.
the actual physical mail. Like that's not where that's another thing is like but it's coming back soon, right? It's like
Nah.
nah. People are kind of bolting their mailboxes shut because they're tired of getting stuff.
Yeah.
So this is not really an effective form of advertising. But yeah, they used to like a lot of kind of like in the same way like if you saw what was it shit from like Wilmington, Delaware.
Oh, yeah. You knew it was a credit card offer.
Yeah, yeah, and there was a lot of crap that was coming out of way below
Way below
Colorado.
Colorado.
Shit, I used to remember back in the day where tell me if you remember this. Like, so if you read, okay, it's like 1988, you're watching 2020, and you're watching it all the way through to the end, right?
Okay.
All right. And so what they would say at the end is, for a full transcript of tonight's program,
Oh, yeah.
right to blah 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 in Pueblo, Colorado.
Oh, okay. I do. I
Remember
vaguely
that?
recall that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 And the more you listen to it, the more like shows would say right to them there, and it just turned out that they had a lot of like printing and stuff down there. But again, that's not.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to bag on them too hard, man, but like I know a lot of people down there and they all kind of talk the same tune in some respects. It's just like we're just one lucky break away from being fucking
Yeah.
Denver 2.0. And it's like, nah, man. So, and I mean, it's really hard to tell some of the locals that down there, but it's also like, look, man, Pueblo's got a reputation amongst the rest of the state as being a place where it's really difficult to do business with the government down there. Okay, so
Why?
it's run by old school blue dog Democrats who, you know, want the union jobs back and stuff like that, and blah, blah,
Okay.
blah.
Got it.
And then the other thing is that, and I don't know if this is necessarily true because I know a lot of people who went through the school system down there, but the school system has a reputation for being terrible. So, and they got 2 districts down there. So,
Okay.
I mean, we got like fucking 20 up here, so, which is stupid, but, you know.
Which is how because I grew up here,
Yeah.
I always presumed that's
it's
how
rare.
it was.
Yeah.
You know, everywhere.
Yeah. Then you realize Florida has a school district.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
New York, very similar.
Very similar. LA. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's shit. It's called the
Even
LA.
Denver. Yeah.
It's called the LA Unified School District.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
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 So now they got 2 down there, and they kind of, one of them kind of donuts around the other one, if I'm not mistaken. So it's
In Denver?
no, in Pueblo.
Oh, okay.
If I'm not mistaken. I haven't looked at the map, but people have expressed it as being that way. And they just constantly fight, man. And, you know, everybody's like, oh, you know, you went to that district, you fucking suck. You went to this high school, you suck. This is the only place that I've been where people actually give a shit what high school you went to. So.
Well, we did when we were at those high schools.
Yeah, when you're 18.
Yeah,
or when you're 22.
When
you
you're
know?
when you're in those high schools and you're you know making up the chants and stuff like that.
Right.
I mean that's yeah, I remember, you know, jokingly asking can't remember her last name, Deb, but you know, she'd been teaching at Rampart.
Mhm.
And it was like, according to the local legend around here, the Rampart girls are easy. Was that true when you were, you know, teaching? She just started laughing. She's like, "Oh, you're one of those guys."
You're one of those guys, huh?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's the stuff you care about. I know that at the time we had a rivalry with Mitchell and Coronado. Mitchell solved itself. It's
Mitchell sorted itself out, yeah.
yeah.
As the neighborhood it served changed. Actually, they have been expanding its boundaries, man. Across that street is fucking Mitchell territory now.
What?
Yeah, that's the only way they can keep the motherfucker open.
Are you
Dead
serious?
serious. I saw the map the other day. They had just moved the boundaries all around again.
How many fucking buses does it take to get people to
I
that
don't
stupid
know,
school?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Actually, it's the exact same. It's just that they're trucking them that direction.
Right,
So,
yeah. That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, because I knew people like right down there, like right on that side of the street
Mhm.
that were going to my high school.
Not anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not anymore.
Fuck those Mitchell guys.
Um,
Not picking on them in particular. It's just that, you know, I have my old loyalties too. You know, this is a
I'm fairly agnostic on all those things. So now, I don't know. But no, down in Pueblo though, it's like, I mean, yeah, it's like night and day, man. So it's like, oh, you're one of those people, fuck off. You know, it's like this town ain't that big, man. So you know,
you guys have way better things to be divisive over.
way better things to be divisive over. And then you know they sit there and they do these things. They try to attract these manufacturing joints in there, and then they won't even go there. So like, just I think it was a couple of weeks ago, they announced that they're building a new plant here to manufacture aircraft seat, which they've done here for years. So the actual seats that go on planes. So Airbuses,
Yeah.
So apparently that thing got like another, you know, extension and new investment round. It's gonna be like 2,500 more employees.
Right here.
Yeah, it's down by the airport. So, but yeah, you know, and it was like nobody. Yeah, I mean, you have to be like watching News 13 or something to know that. You know, whereas down there, if they get, you know, a fucking tire shop that comes in and employs 12 people, you know, they're like, hey, economic development, look what we're doing. And
Yeah,
like,
because you can actually see the difference on the graph.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
See this spike? That happened under my governorship.
Yeah.
No, because the other thing is because I mean that would be like us looking at this like saying like, wow, look at all this, look at all the hardship that we had to follow when the Intel manufacturing company up and left.
Oh yeah. There was actually a plan like last year to turn that thing back into a manufacturing plant.
Really?
So, yeah. But the company decided not to do it. They decided to build their own place, and so there's a whole new one that's going to go up just north of there. So
Oh,
yeah,
manufacturing what?
semiconductors. Yeah, so there you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Have a perfectly good building for it, but they're like, nah.
So the building's all parted out now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I know that there's different things in there, but yeah, you're right.
the DMV is in there, man. So,
Doesn't have to be.
yeah, it doesn't have to be. Yeah. So
Like I'm sure there's a busted ass Circle K they can put that in. What were we
the
saying?
DMV's fine around here, man. Last time I got my driver's license, it took me like 8 minutes in and out, and my mom was like, "Oh, you're going to the DMV? You better bring a book." Kind of thing.
Oh man, that's in the vintage humor handbook as
Right.
like every strip of the Lockhorns that was ever written.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, it's like
That was the joke for so long, man.
Oh, yeah.
And it's totally not true now.
my understanding is in different places it is still dog shit.
It might be.
Right.
So,
But here, okay, so now obviously I'm not really keen on the fact that they thought I was a criminal from like fucking Texas or whatever, which caused all those. So I told you about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I wasn't exactly a fan of that. And I don't know how they cleared that up by having me come by and say, that's not me. Like, what evidence do they have except my word to be able to verify that? I don't know.
I don't know.
But they were able to clear that up. But, yeah, even still, that took 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not bad. So,
It took 10 minutes.
no. Yeah, we kind of have it. We have it pretty good in this state when it comes to a lot of those things. Like, I've never had a problem with like the Colorado Department of Revenue getting me my refund really quickly.
Shit, they just...
I mean, it always beats the Fed one back. So
It's like you have guys waiting to print it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Or yeah. Like there's actually like 10 dudes at their computer, right?
Right.
They're all just like playing checkers, and then like one comes in and yeah, and then the dude like gets it, and he's like, all right, this is like the work for the day. You have
Yeah.
guys that
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They rush that shit out, man. It's really efficient when you think about it.
It is. Yeah.
Do a good
No,
job
that's
here.
great. So, and I mean, like, I don't know. I've never had a problem with voting in the state either, man. So, even when we used to go to the place, so because I used to go to this church over here, so in order to vote,
The Holy Apostles?
I think it's the one next to that. It's the little Jehovah's Witness one.
Oh, the one up.
No, right next to the Catholic Church, the one just past it. I don't know if that's it. I don't know if they're Jehovah's Witnesses there or not, but that used to be my polling place.
Oh,
So yeah, and so I mean I probably voted it. Well, I voted in there like at least twice, and then there was one time I actually went downtown to vote. So at the courthouse. So and that was a line and a half. Okay.
why'd you go there?
I think I was picking up my wife. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, well I'm here, so let me vote. And that would have been the last election that I did. That was like 2004. And so ever since then, I think it was 2006 or 2000. I know in 2008 was when we started the mail-in ballots. Never had a problem with it. So
I don't think so.
yeah, no, even
Well.
the local ones. You know, you get the blue ones for the city and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
fine. So you know, and then I don't know. I haven't really had too many other interactions with like any kind of municipal service. So
I don't recall needing anything. I mean, I did see something that I hadn't seen before. Was the other day, just there's this gigantic truck parked up in front of my house, right? And I have no idea what this is for. It's just noisy, and it's not like I was, going out there in my fucking, sleeveless shirt to go out there and complain and say, hey, move it along, guys. No, it's just like, what are these guys doing? And, I never even paid attention, but I guess this is where they found a blockage. So I'm over there watching some dude. They get the cover off.
oh, they put the hose down there. Yeah.
Well, this dude had basically the biggest, like, toilet snake on the planet.
Yeah.
And he's just dragging this
Ugh.
stuff out.
Yeah.
And it took about 4 seconds me looking to say, like, you guys just do whatever you do, man. That's fine. Like,
Yeah.
that's like the last service that I've needed. Well, unless you count the cops, because the cops were out here
When that
when
guy.
that fucking drunk,
Yeah.
high lunatic destroyed my backyard.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've had any interaction with cops. You've got me beat on that one. So.
Well, I don't need them. I mean,
Well, no. I mean, they were interested in him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I've got the documentation there to say exactly what he did. So
Yeah.
I decided not to give a what do you call it, an impact statement.
At his sentencing. He damaged my antique fence. Oh my god. My great granddad built that fence. He said it would stand for eternity. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was given the opportunity, but
Sure.
I declined. I didn't have jury duty.
Oh, I had jury duty a couple of years ago. That was actually a bit of a clusterfuck. So
Why?
I don't know. It was really busy. It was really packed. Uh, I guess that's just the way that goes, though, man. Because it had like fucking like 500 people waiting in the selections room. So and
That's abnormal.
there's like yeah, but it was a Monday, and my wife said that's normal. So for
okay.
a Monday,
Yeah.
and then shit, I was on break, and so I was like, fuck yeah, I'll go sit on jury. So I've never had the chance to do it. I've been
No, me neither.
Yeah, I've been summoned 3 times. I went all 3 times. One time I actually got sat on the jury, but then I got booted. So
What'd you say?
nothing. So it was just defense counsel. That was their strategy. So they let everybody go through. Do you guys have any, problems with this? No. Okay. So they picked 12 candidates. So, and then, well, they picked 11. And then the entire day, if you got sat in that 12th seat, you got booted. So it was just what they were doing. So, yeah. I didn't make sense to me at the time. So,
That seems like something that just doesn't seem like they should be able to do that. Or like, why?
they went through the entire. I mean, so they filled the courthouse with the courtroom with potential jurors, seated the first 11 in a row. That took about 2-3 hours. Okay, and then it asked everybody else come in, do this, exact same questions. Defense counsel challenge, and so I don't know how it was. I don't even know what fucking kind of case it was. It was obviously a criminal case, so because it had 12-man jury, so but it was just one of those things. It's like, well, I didn't understand what was going on, and years later, my wife explained it to me. She's like, yeah, they can do that. So especially if it's a big deal kind of case, and the reason why her guess was just based upon what I was telling her was that so the defense counsel did not like the jury. Okay, so because the prosecution managed to seat quite a few people who were going to be very like, nope, this is the law, this is what you did, blah, 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 kind of thing. And so she was shopping for one juror that she could actually, influence. So to keep that
Yeah.
block in. So I was like, so how long will that go? And he says, until they run out of candidates. And so I was like the second to the last one. And so I wonder if the guy behind me actually got seated. But I got escorted out of the courthouse or the courtroom at that point in time. So,
So it's
So
rough.
I have no idea.
Yeah, because in that's the rough thing. Because if you look at that in hindsight, you're just kind of like, I feel like they should have to justify it. It's like, well, this person can't. You say why? Just
I don't
like,
know,
challenge,
yeah.
like on what grounds, right?
maybe they do. They just don't tell you.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I've worked. So I've worked, files where they talk
Oh,
about
right.
these, and like the shit on this is like so obvious. Like one dude was like crystal clear on this. He was like, I don't like cops. He's like, so there's no amount of data I could show you that would convince you that cops aren't bad people. It's like, nope.
All right, off you go. Yep.
Like, what, and that's fine. Like, if you're gonna be an asshole like that, whatever that case may be, like, if that's just gonna be your perspective on this, you know what? I don't really want you making a decision for people.
Mm.
I And this is not to say that I really, at this point, I don't care if I ever sit on a jury or not. It's really not.
I really want to someday. I think it'd be
I
fun.
think it'd be interesting,
Yeah.
but at the same time, if it never happens, like I don't think I'll have missed out on anything.
I won't die regretful. You know?
Because like many things, it has a good chance of not meeting what my anticipations are, and me getting really pissed off about it.
Oh yeah.
You know.
I don't. Yeah. So I've gotten close just those well, 3 times. The third time I didn't even get called. The second time my wife was actually at the DA's office at the time, and so I was like, I'm gonna get booted, and I totally did. Immediately.
What were you supposed
With
to?
prejudice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I see you over here. It's like, is there any reason he shouldn't be on? It's like, yeah, I know her.
Yeah, well, it was the judge who asked that. He's like, you know, and he was just asking the whole group. He was like, do you know anybody who's involved in the legal system? So, and specifically anybody who's involved with the prosecutor's office or this defense firm. I raised my hand, and he asked me who it was, and I told him who my wife was, and he was like, "Thank you, sir. You're good for the day." So it wasn't even the defense attorney. Okay, although she would have. So of course, but he was like, no. So yeah, so off I went. They ask you, you know anybody associated with law enforcement and all kinds of shit. So I don't know. And then the last time I just didn't get called, man. I sat there for 6 hours, and then they finally turned us all loose about.
Yeah, that's what's kind of irritating.
2 o'clock.
Is when you just sit around for the whole day. Because that's the pool I've been in several times.
Oh, have you?
Yeah. Been in several times. You just hang out there for the rest of the day. I've heard the speech in the beginning of the day many times. I've watched that TV many times.
Oh man,
It's
I've only been there
changed.
3 times. So wow.
Well, because
It's usually after I vote too. You're like, oh, you're still
I'm not getting into that. No, the thing for me, like at all those points, like I never complained about it because I was always of the opinion it's like, look, you're gonna call me in here, just let me be one of the first people wiped out because I'm not going back to work, right? I'm just not.
Yeah.
So go ahead and release me early. It's fine. But yeah, if it happens, it happens. But didn't call my number. Don't care. That's about it for services. I don't think I've never needed a fireman. I've never needed.
I don't think I've ever had the fire department come to my house.
Well, I took an ambulance ride, but that's not a city service.
No, that's different. Yeah. Never been in an ambulance.
I've been in a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Only one for me.
Yeah. No, yeah. There was a time I was actually pretty close to calling an ambulance for my mom, but I just took her.
I thought you took an ambulance ride when your fucking guts bust open.
When what? When my guts bust open?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
You had to have surgery.
Oh, no, that was appendectomy. I drove to them.
Oh.
It didn't rupture, man. It just had a really bad tummy ache for 3 days. I went to see my regular doctor, and she did the life or death. Youch! Poking me in the side. What kind of doctor are you, lady? I said, oh, yeah. And she's like, I think you need to go to the hospital. I was like, okay. She's like, you okay to drive? I was like, sure. So went, and I actually didn't get the operation that day. I got it the next day. So yeah, because they did I don't know. They poked me. They checked my blood and stuff. And they said, well, it hasn't ruptured yet. If it was rupturing, you'd have a terrible fever and you'd feel much worse.
You'd have sepsis.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like Kevin level sepsis where he lets it go for 3 weeks. And
I don't know if that's necessarily him. I feel as though he probably alerted his guardians that he was in terrible pain.
His owners.
Yeah, the stewardship of of Condor or whatever. I think he let him know that he was not doing well, and I don't think they approached it with the vigilance required.
Yeah. I wonder if he got a hospital or an ambulance ride for that one. I don't know.
Possibly because he
It's
might have
possible.
dialed 911 himself.
He might have dialed 911. I'll show you fuckers. You know? Don't take me to the doctor.
Yeah, it's kind of a rough thing to be laughing at, but I mean, I feel like I've got a pretty decent chance of being right.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have kept that to himself and just be like, "I'm a tough guy."
Oh yeah. Yeah. I doubt it.
Hell no.
He did say that he tried to knock himself out because the pain was so bad.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's a level of toughness I do not possess. And so I'd be dialing 911 way before then.
Patrick, my question to you would be like, how would you feel? Okay, you're a father now.
Yeah.
If your daughter
Mm-hmm.
was banging her own head against the toilet because she was in so much pain, what would you think of your parenting skills?
The amount of remorse that I would feel over something like that
What
would
the
be
fuck, man?
unrecoverable for years. Yeah. That's true.
You wouldn't be okay if a pet was in that much pain.
Oh, Lord, no. So I've had pets who were in pain like
Yeah.
that. That was an easy decision. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like your wife or something, it's like, honey,
Yeah.
it's just like,
It's like, please just knock me out. It's like, you're not even fighting back. You know? You know? Do you
do
need to go to
you
the
know?
doctor? Yeah.
Is there a reason you won't tell me?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of inexcusable. Like,
Oh, we almost had it. Yeah, we almost had a ambulance ride that day too.
for what?
When my wife got her chemo port put in, her doctor punctured her lung. And, yeah, and we didn't know it. So she comes out of recovery and everything like that, and we go home, and then she starts talking like this. It's like, "Are you okay?" She's like, "I don't think so." And then I was like, "Okay, well, we got to call the doctor." And I'm like reaching for their phone, and they're calling us. So, and they're saying, "Hey, we looked at the post-op X-ray. You need to go to the ER right now." So we're like, "Do we need a ride?" And they're like, "Well, if you're okay to drive her." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Don't get in a wreck," But at the same point in time, you need to go right now. So I was like, "Okay."
Jesus.
We almost had an ambulance right there. So
It's look. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I've had it. It was accident related when that car flipped over.
oh yeah.
Yeah, there was like no two ways around it. It was like you need to.
Yeah, you need yeah.
We need to put you on the thing. Make sure you're not dangling your head around or anything like that.
Oh yeah.
And given that I knew that I wasn't at fault, I'm like, I don't feel like I'm going to be financially on the hook for
Yeah.
this. It's okay.
So like ambulance rides, you only get fucked alive on those if you actually have zero insurance and are at fault
Right.
of something. And so like, I mean, people, oh my God, it's going to cost you like $30,000. It's like, there are people that it may cost $30,000. If you even have even a little bit of health insurance, that's not going to be you. So, yeah.
And I get it. And if that's one of the things that you want to look at, as we've opened up our 17-part series on healthcare reform and costs, if that's something that you want to look at and say like, okay, maybe this could be a problem, maybe this is an issue. All right, yeah, you're totally legitimate on that one, and say like, it is just a ride.
It's just a ride.
With like air tubes and stuff like that, and some people that can come out there and provide some, emergency services. And if you say, this probably shouldn't cost this much, you're probably right.
Probably.
Give me a solution and I'll take it under consideration.
Yeah.
And then realize the fact that I'm powerless to do anything about it.
Yeah, there's really nothing that I mean, yeah, even here in town, we can't even keep an ambulance contractor going for like 5-6 years straight, man. So, okay. So if it's that hard to find a contractor, obviously their margins aren't ridiculous. So,
No, and I mean, if it's going to be like that, then fuck it. Just have the city do it then.
Yeah. So, it was fun. I did see an argument that they should...
It'll cost way more.
What?
And it'll cost way more.
It would cost way more, but I saw an argument that there's like some municipalities, they've actually turned that over to their fire department because fires are so fucking rare anymore. So
Yeah, well, it turns out okay. So I guess it depends on where you are. Like some firehouses have like way more responsibilities than you'd think.
oh yeah,
Right? Like things that I didn't even like consider. So like they're the ones that are out there that are supposed to be like chopping up trees that get knocked over in storms.
oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, not around here.
Yeah. The same thing goes like there are places where they're out there pumping out flooded basements.
They will do that here. So yeah.
And it turns out that there's a pretty good reason for that.
Well, they got a pumper truck.
Yes, they also have that.
Okay.
But they're also the ones that are cleared to go in there and basically like shut off the electric. If
Oh
there's-
yeah.
Right, that's why
Yeah.
they'd be there in the first place. But yeah, there's like other duties they have like that. They're the ones that come up there and like clean up the cars and
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But I don't think they do that here.
What? Clean up the cars?
Like,
No, they get
Mm-mm.
towed off.
yeah,
I mean, so usually if you see a bad enough wreck, and if it involves something gnarly, they'll stick around until the thing actually gets towed. So
right.
yeah, but you know, like if it's just a little fender bender, they don't do anything about that. So I mean, if there's glass out on the street, they'll clean that up. So
But a guy with a broom could do that.
usually the guy who's driving the tow truck does that if it's not
Yeah.
huge. But I've seen
Yeah.
firefighters do it too when there's like a lot of shit going on. Sort of there's like gas on the street or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, and that was actually, you know, because firefighters did show up to my place
Mhm.
because of the boxes.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And so they were like, all right, well, we got to check out the electrical stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, they put up some tape.
Go back to the firehouse. Time for beans, boys.
Yeah, you're going to head back. You guys are going to make one big meal. You're going to
Mhm.
eat it. And you guys are going to, like, bust each other's balls for the rest of the night.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. And that's fine. Look, I don't want my firefighters to be, like, being run ragged, like, all the time, too.
No.
Where it's like, God, we're just going from one fire to another. I'm like,
Yeah. I don't want my cops like that either. So, unfortunately, they kind of are.
our guys or no?
Our guys are actually really understaffed right now. So, they've lost like 60, 70 people this year. It's like 10% of the force. So,
What's
yeah,
the reason?
retirements, and people say, fuck it, I don't want to be a cop anymore. So, yeah. Lots of reasons. So, you get that big billboard, you know, like the classic join the LAPD, you know, it's down on South Academy when you come up from the highway.
Really?
Yeah, it's right there. So
There's a guy like smiling cops on it, and
yeah, they look pretty friendly. They're not all tacked out and like, you know, like unleashing dogs on you. So yeah. I think that would probably be a little bit more effective considering how close that is to Fort Carson. It'd be like, yeah, I want to go fuck shit up. You know, when I get out of the military.
right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, exactly. It's like get the fuck shit up and go to my house at the end of the night. It's like,
Nice.
oh, that'd be sweet.
So-
So I wonder if they take people with face tattoos.
Since you get booted out of the army for that swastika. You know? It's just
Actually-
bad life decisions that weekend, man.
This particular side predates Hitler.
Good luck in the anesthesia.
Is that why you're wearing it?
That's always the question, isn't it?
Right,
Yeah.
right. So like I could believe you if somehow like all right, if I came across a person that was absolutely certain, right? And you could just tell from their personality, you'd see this now. Now, again, it'd be weird that they actually have a swastika tattoo, but you could actually see
is
somebody and say like based on his personality,
Mhm.
he really is a Zen person, and this goes to like this really is a symbol of.
He better be wearing orange robes or something, man.
That's what I'm saying. You could come across somebody that is like that, but even still, I'd be like, yeah, I know this.
Mhm.
Nobody else that works here is going to know this, so I'm not going to hire you.
Yeah.
Because they're going to say, what's that?
Right, yeah, exactly. It's like, you can't man the drive up, man. So, you know, You can run the fry station, but keep your head away from the window. So
Yeah, and
yeah,
you gotta wear long sleeves.
you gotta wear long sleeves.
Yeah, all the way up to your neck. Why'd you get that on your face?
Charlie Manson it out, man.
I don't want to pick on people's artistic expression, but just I think I've said this before. I haven't come across a credo or an idea that I think is worth committing to my skin. Like there's nothing there that I would find so immutable that I would say like I have to wear this forever. And like to take it less serious, like if I'm looking at it that way and then taking a step down and say like, okay, well it doesn't have to be, something from Marcus Aurelius. It could be, you step it back and say like, all right, well it could be something that you're into. It's like, yeah, but then I have like a dumbass like Felix the cat on my right shoulder or something like that. I'm like, I don't understand it, Patrick. Maybe you can make sense of it for me. It's like, what is
I'm
the drive?
Yeah, I'm a little agnostic about it, but I always liked your bumper sticker theory. So, you just like cars with a shitload of bumper stickers, just people who have to say things out loud all the time. So, and they need to make sure that you're paying attention to them. So, and I don't see that as like a narcissistic kind of thing. It's just, just natural for them in some respects. You know,
And look, I mean, I can understand. Like, there are people that say, like, look, I got my children's names. I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna fight you on that.
yeah, okay,
I don't have any of those.
I got a mom tattoo or something. Yeah, it's fine.
Even if it's not ironic, I actually may like that even better.
There you go.
That's something like that. Or if, like, say for example, if you had a credo that went down to like a particular Bible verse or something like that, I'm like,
Yeah, go for
all
it.
right, I can understand that. I mean, I wouldn't. The problem I have with that is by doing that, that sort of ensures that I never change my mind, and that I find problematic.
Yeah, you're kind of baked into you, so it's baked into you at that point in time.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why. So I do know a couple guys who do have like very politicized tattoos. So
Like along what?
well, there's one guy who's got "We the People," you know. So
Okay.
yeah, and I've seen other guys with things that are kind of along those lines, or I've seen a Gadsden snake a couple times, and it's kind of like, all right, I mean, granted, I think all these guys are ex-military, so that kind of makes sense.
When you said that they were politicized, I guess I was going the other end of the spectrum. I was
no, nobody has Ku Klux Klan tattoos.
No. I was thinking like fucking like I don't know, like the Young Turks or something. I don't know, like some. I was going the other tattoo. Painted up like the fucking Virgin Mary or whatever. Just.
The outstretched Jesus arms. Come on, man.
Yeah, well, look, I was going the other way. Maybe like I have seen people with hammer and sickle tattoos.
I haven't ever seen that. I'm sure they exist. I'm trying to think of anybody that I've come across.
I've seen it. I didn't know the person.
Yeah, well, I've seen guys with Schustoffel bolts. So I mean, there you go.
Have I seen that?
I've seen that. I have definitely seen that. So
the only possible way to have seen that is if somebody actually had a kiss tattoo.
This was not a kiss tattoo.
Okay.
Yeah, this was on
it
the
was
neck.
missing the first two letters.
It was missing the first two letters.
That's a very important distinction.
This was very deliberate. Yeah. So yeah. So I have seen that. Nice guy, really nice guy. So
if you didn't have the
dude, he was an ex-con, so I mean,
okay.
Yeah, he was pretty upfront about it. So, but nice guy. Obviously well reformed.
Well,
sometimes prison works on people.
Well, I mean, was it? I have this misconception, Patrick, and this is ridiculous. Okay, but I have this misconception in my head that people go into the prison system as somewhat of a blank slate, but they only sign up with the white power guys because they need protection.
They force you to join. So yeah, you're not allowed to be a civilian in prison.
But I feel as though that you join those groups because you have tendencies.
No, you don't get a choice. So if you're a white guy, you cannot join a black gang.
Well, no,
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 in
of course
prison
not.
they won't let you in. So the white guys will beat the shit out of you. So
Right,
yeah, no,
right.
you don't have any choices in these things, man. So just me,
But
I've watched a lot of
like,
prison shit over the last year. So
I don't know. Maybe you could. I mean, depending on, could you get in with the Muslim guys?
no, so it's all by race. So it's all by race. There are no quote quote Muslim guys. So it's just not like a whole bunch of black people who get together with a few white people and form a Muslim gang. It doesn't work like that. So it's 100% race. So
It's crazy how prison does that.
yeah, it's white, black. There's two types of Mexicans. If there's enough of them to go around.
Right.
So if there's enough of them to go around, otherwise there's only one Hispanic like gang.
Which one are they?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh,
So yeah, I mean MS-13 is the big one, but
right.
but prison gangs are different than street gangs. So
Yeah, it was like the Latin Kings or something like that.
there's a lot of them. Yeah, and then there's other. So yeah, and others like have to ally with somebody else. So because there's not enough of them. So
yeah, I'm guessing because that's tough then. Because like, do Jews have to go with like the white power
yes.
guys?
Yep. Yeah, if they're white. So
Well,
yeah. No, it depends on the state, and it depends because like there's certain prison systems in certain states that are a little bit more vicious than others. So, but that has a lot to do with how they're administered. So more so than anything else. So, like there's like California prisons are apparently no fucking joke because basically all the inmates run the prisons. And they kind of have a truce with the guards. So everybody kind of goes home okay every night. Yeah.
well, I don't imagine that those dudes want it to be a fucking nightmare either, right? Because those
No.
guys want to get out eventually anyway themselves.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. And then there's other places where, it's very tightly controlled and, like if you get disappeared out of a prison, you might have a bunch of buddies in one prison, but the state's got like 15 different prisons. You'll just disappear. So then nobody will know where you are and shit. And so it's just completely different depending on the prison system. There's a show that I've been watching that this guy's interviewing all these dudes
Yeah.
over the years coming out, and some of them are fucking crazy, but then there's a few of them every now and then who are pretty solid, and they'll kind of lay out, hey, this is how it actually works in Kentucky. This is what you have to do. So this is how it works in, there's one guy who was talking about Colorado. So yeah.
What did he have to say about Colorado?
He said there were a couple prisons in the state that were really nice, and there were a couple you did not want to go to. So, and he had been to quite a few of them.
What's the one you want to get?
I think he was saying that there's one up north. So he said you did not want to go to Lyman. So he said that one was bad. I think there's one up in Fort Morgan he said wasn't too bad. So, yeah. Because I think we got like 5. Like men's prisons. So you still got the one in Canyon City.
That's why. Yeah, that's
that one's bad. You do not want to go
That's
there.
bad.
You do not want to go there. Yeah. I don't know.
Shit, I know some guys that worked there. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Oh no. No, Greg worked at Florence. Sorry.
He worked at Florence, but I do know people. I knew people that like from the rig that
Oh, okay.
had worked there. They were fine.
Oh, guards? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're okay. Yeah. So shouldn't you go from making like $35,000 a year to rig money? You're probably pretty good. It's like, wait a minute, nobody's trying to stab me today? Fucking sweet.
Well, there was a women's prison near there too.
There is a women's prison.
Yeah.
There's like 4 down there. So there's the men's prison, there's a women's prison, there's a work camp down there, and then there's the Supermax. So
how's the work camp work?
it's like the Club Med,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a work camp. So if you do good in other prisons, they send you to work camp where you work in fields or make license plates or whatever, but you're not a security risk. And so you're just trying to get your shit done. And so yeah, and so that one's the one that everybody wants to go to if they do good time. So.
Yeah, sorry, man. I just watched Shawshank, so I'm like,
Oh, okay.
the guys are out there tarring the roof, and
It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
So, and then there's the Supermax, which is the most mind-numbingly dystopian place in the United States.
Right.
It's full of very, very, very deserving individuals. So, but who was it? They were going to throw El Chapo in there.
Yeah.
I don't think they actually did. I think they actually threw him in the other big one back in Ohio or wherever it is. There's another big federal prison. It's not the Supermax. He might be there though. They're not going to say where he is. So,
didn't Gotti go to the Supermax?
Gotti went to the Supermax,
Yeah.
but he died in that one. I think it's in
Yeah.
Indiana. So
Yeah.
I think he died in
Yeah.
that one. So that one was different. Gotti was there for a bit. Oh, fucking Jared Fogle.
Right.
Jared Fogle is not in the Supermax, but he was out at Fort Morgan up here in Colorado.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know why. I didn't think he was charged in Colorado. So, but apparently that had something to do with it. And so he's not due to get out for like 6 more years. I looked him up the other day.
So he's not dead.
He's not dead. He did get the shit beat out of him.
That you seem pretty clear
No,
on.
no. The guy got convicted for doing it. So yeah.
I did a show about him. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
about the guy who beat up Jared Fogle?
No, about Jared Fogle.
Oh, okay.
About the descent that he went down into.
Oh, it was
and how he
terrible.
did it.
No, the guy who beat up Jared Fogle got charged because he beat him so badly in prison. So he picked up additional charges by beating the shit out of Jared Fogle, and he's like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, I did it." So
Yeah,
he said, "I'll
there's
do
a-
it again, man." Yeah.
There's a pretty famous. There's a pretty famous guy. I can't remember. There's another story of a dude who fucking killed his cellmate, and was
Oh.
very open about like no, it's just he wouldn't shut up, so I killed him.
Yeah,
It was fine.
He's already in here for life, so fuck off.
He's an absolute scumbag. He
Right.
like raped his daughter or something like that, so I killed him.
Yeah.
And like the internet went nuts for him for a little bit. They're like, this guy seems innocent.
Yeah, it's a different world, man.
No, it's like that famous footage. You've probably seen that one. This one goes way back. That dude that he was the guy that was posted up at the airport. He was just hanging out at the paying phones when the guy he was like the father of victim. And yeah, and he's just like hanging out at the payphones, and when they're like bringing him by and cuss, he just like blows them away.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it was just like nobody. They were like, yeah, whatever.
Well, they charged him.
They did, but I don't think he got really roughed up that badly.
Oh, if he went into prison, he'd be a hero.
Yeah.
So yeah, at that point in time. So
yeah, I don't think he, and I don't think he had that many years to it.
No, but you're gonna go to prison. If you
Well, you
ambush a
can't-
guy with a shotgun.
This is the
yeah.
problem. This is the thing that, like, so I keep seeing videos of like, did you see the 2 Indian guys at the 7-Eleven, the dude who'd robbed them like 5 times? Okay, so I'll describe it for you as best I can. There's 2 Indian guys. It's in California. They're working at a 7-Eleven or a gas station. I don't remember what it is. And guy has a pistol in his waist, and he's pushing a trash can over there in the back of the tobacco aisle, and just like pushing all this stuff in there and just taking everything he can, right? And eventually what happens is one of the 2 guys basically like wrestles the thief to the
One of
ground.
the 2 Indians.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the other dude just grabs like half a mop handle and is just fucking wailing on his ass.
Oh,
with it,
wow.
right? And the reports there for a couple of days was that the shopkeeps were under investigation.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a thing that was rough because like there's this thing that yes, there's no 2 ways around it. There are places over here that are getting fucking like beaten up with crime pretty badly, right?
Oh yeah.
And this is the shit that I said to you, like, same thing about, like, you can't leave cake out because you get Nixon's, right? It's the same thing where, like, the thing about policing is you can't turn it into a totalitarian hellscape forever, Giuliani style, where it's just kind of like, hey, he looks suspicious, find a reason to, put him up against the wall and, right?
Yeah, more of that was just driven by bad management. So they had to count how many contacts. And that's just a stupid way to manage that. So
Of course.
Yeah.
Now, granted, in certain extreme circumstances, I'm like, all right, I get why you did it. I don't necessarily agree with it. This is one of those, are you really suspending the law, for right now,
Yeah.
for a temporary reprieve? Yeah, but to be fair, he actually cleaned that city up something fierce.
He
So,
did.
like, I
Yeah.
get it. But there's this part where, like, if your city right now is not being policed, then people will start taking shit into their own hands.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know?
Well, and shopkeepers in particular, I mean, they're on the front lines of it. So
Yeah.
this just happened.
Yeah, this was like a week ago.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I did not see anything on that. There's another crime thing that was going on the other day.
Talking about the New York riot?
Oh, was that a crime? I mean, wasn't that YouTube? It's like a dude was giving away like PlayStations and the whole place went bananas.
Yeah, that's a crime.
Yeah, so what were they trying to do? Did he not have enough PlayStations? Did they try and bum rush him and get the PlayStations, or what the fuck
So is
happened?
my understanding.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So
I haven't read anything about he being like formally charged with anything or anything like that, but yeah, that was bananas. The I mean, there's a shit ton of theft, and I get it, and it's embarrassing and it's problematic, and you're like, dude, come on, we need to be better than this.
well, I think there's a lot of municipalities, and ours is one of them, where they're getting, a little bit not to the point in time where, it's like, oh, okay, the whole George Floyd thing never fucking happened, but it was like, no, actually, we have a job, so
Yeah.
we're gonna do our job.
Yeah.
We're not gonna sit here and we're not gonna kowtow to these, interest groups here, because if you go into the neighborhoods and you ask the people who are getting robbed what they want more cops, like unanimously. So,
And for it's like, not only do they want more cops, it's like, can you ask them to just kind of like kick a little bit more ass?
right, yeah. So, well, and yeah, there are communities out there, like I was seeing this thing on Baltimore, which is just apparently a hellscape. In some
My understanding, yeah.
But-
They're in DC.
parts of it are better. So because they've actually gone through and they said, okay, get the fuck out of the cop cars because we want you guys on shoe leather. So
Yeah.
and so that seems to work pretty good. I mean, and then, like there's a lot of this is like the fucking army suffers from this too.
Huh.
There's this idea, and this is like the whole Memphis thing where those 5 black cops beat the shit out of that other dude. So wasn't that Memphis?
Oh, whoa. Okay, how far back are we talking? Like
It's like 6 months.
okay,
maybe last summer.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And the media went bananas for about 10 minutes before they realized all the cops are black. So, yeah. So, but no.
No, they broomed it fast. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, the story was fine, but those guys all got charged and booted and stuff and
Oh, yeah.
all that shit. So, but anyway, that's not the point that I was trying to take from that. The point is that they belong to this like special unit. So, that was supposed to go around and clean up neighborhoods, and the army's the same fucking way. It's like if you got to be all tabbed out in ranger gear and shit like that, you're a badass and you can go solve problems. When actually 9 times out of 10, you're not going to make the SWAT team. So stop focusing on, these like all this tactical shit that came out of the, the whole war on terror era.
Right.
Get back to
Right.
like actual like, swing the billy club policing. So tell the kids to stay away from stay away from those guys over there. They're bad for you.
Right.
And
Right.
things like
Right.
that. It's like, so who the living neighborhood drunk is. It's like, all right, Johnny, so get yourself up, lad. Kind of thing.
No,
Yeah.
walk on by, actually get in there, like shoot a couple hoops with the guys.
Exactly.
I
saw this YouTube video the other day with LA cops doing that with these guys, and they were actually boxing. So this cop beat the shit out of this kid, but they're all, bumping mitts afterwards
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Even though he had knocked his radio off. So
absolutely.
it's like, okay, see, that's good. So, like, you want to see things like that. So,
No, 100%. It's we've talked about this before. Having actual, they talk about cops being members of the community in some ways. That's exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Here, right?
Mhm.
Because I mean, if you think about it in this way, right? It's difficult enough to squeeze off some rounds and kill a policeman. It's way more difficult when that's that's Smitty.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
His kids play with my kids.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a different story, and I understand the impracticality of it. But there's when it comes down to it, you're going to ask yourself, say, all right, so what sacrifices do we have to make in order to make this part of our reality, right?
Well,
And that's a
yeah,
that's a tough one.
that
It's
could
all
be really
money, and it's
tough.
always
Well, it's not just money, but it's like, can you force cops to live in the community in which they're actually like policing? So,
in some places, yes.
well, to a point, but I mean, like, if you try to do that here, what would you do? You'd say, okay, you got to live in Colorado Springs. It's like, okay, well, it's way different up north than it is down in Fountain.
Oh yeah,
Kind of thing. So even if I live way up north, and I
you live in Briargate,
technically in the community,
Yeah.
in which I police people, but it's like, no, you don't, because nobody knows who the fuck you are. They should be able to recognize you for who you are in a grocery store in cities, kind of thing. So that's just, I don't know.
That's a pipe dream.
It
No,
is kind of
I mean, unless you were again, unless you make that your mission, and you're saying like, all right, well, we're gonna do this differently. It's like this area patrols this area, right? And we're hiring, this.
Yeah.
I don't know how legal that is. I don't know how.
I don't know, man. I mean, that's another thing that's a problem too. It's just the way that they hire. They want the best and the brightest. It's like, no, actually, you don't. You want people from the fucking neighborhood. So just because this guy can run a 6-minute mile and this guy's like looking a little tubby around the middle, doesn't mean that the guy who can run 6-minute miles can make a better cop. So,
Well, yeah, because when you compare it and you say, all right, so what's their style? Well, this guy is like, and then you have the other guy that's like, put that down.
Yeah, put that down. Let's talk about it.
What are you doing? I've seen situations that are completely escalated because people just the aggression that they take towards this here. It's like I heard the story about like bouncers, right? Where the first thing that they say is that they'll go like, first of all, don't fucking touch me.
Yeah, don't touch me. Yeah.
Right. And I've also seen bouncers that are like, all right, man, you gotta go. Right.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Pack it in. And if you have that person that like right up front is laying it out there on Front Street, like, I'm challenging you, don't fucking touch me. I'm like, from me personally, I'm gonna be like, I won't.
Yeah.
What did I do wrong, man? I
Right, yeah.
apologize. But for the people that are, troublemakers, right? That sends the fur up on the back of their neck right up into orbit.
Yeah.
And you're just begging for, a problem to start.
Right. You
Right.
might be looking for one. Yeah.
Right. Versus, obviously, I don't want some, 88-pound woman built like my mother, going out there and just be, like sweet talking everybody, because they'd probably kick her ass, but I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. So,
but I don't think she'd be an awesome beat cop. This is
no. Yeah.
You have to look at what you have and be honest with what you've.
Well, and it's the requirements of the service. She might be just fine in a rural town in North Dakota. So,
Right, because you know that,
or something like that, but you're not going to send her to Watts. So, yeah, no,
not my mom.
No, not my mom either. So, but yeah, I mean, so, like, that's one thing they were talking about the other day. The mayor here, they want to build a new police academy. They want to put that on the ballot this fall.
Oh, okay.
To see if they can actually retain the Doug Bruce fucking ill-begotten gains from taxpayers. Yeah, the Tabor money. And there was all these people in the media, hey, we need better housing and stuff. It's like, bro, we got $5 million.
Need better housing.
Yeah, that's not going to do anything for housing.
What housing? What
exactly.
are we talking about?
Well, that's exactly the point. Okay, it's like, we need more affordable housing in town, and yada yada yada. And these people are, well, that's money that we would be spending somewhere else if we weren't getting it back. It's like, no, we have to ask why we're getting it back. And so if you say, I want to get $5 million back from Tabor and spend it on housing, okay, there's no way that's going to pass. Okay, so, but, and on top of that, what would $5 million do to solve, like, any kind of housing crunch? Nothing. Okay, but that's a lot for a police academy. So,
Right.
which is going to do a
Right.
lot more good in the long run. So, it was just it was just this argument that was kind of interesting since we had gotten on the police topic here. But they are thinking about getting a new police academy, so that will be coming up this fall.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah,
Well, that's interesting.
yeah.
I don't. What? How are they supposed to be the ones that are solving housing? I don't understand. What are
Well,
they supposed to be building?
oh, a lot of people turn to local governments to try and solve housing because they want free fucking houses. So you need to build more affordable housing around here. Blah blah blah. It's like no. So, I mean, I'm not opposed to them building more housing. I am very opposed to the idea that it would actually be run by the city.
That's the worst possible idea that
It's
you can
awful.
have.
Yeah, I
It's,
know. So that's rent control.
it,
Yeah.
definition of, and I mean, if you're going to talk about the area where it's just the area is just like, so do you want to just say that this is like drug alley? It's like I was like, I'm
Right.
not fucking around. It's like, all right, so I'm not trying to be cruel to people that are looking for cheaper places to live. It's just like turning to your government in that regard is not the answer, man. It's just it sucks.
Hmm.
It sucks everywhere. It's done.
There's two things that he can do that I actually think are pretty good. So first of all, they can speed up permitting on a lot of things.
Okay,
So yeah,
sure.
that's fine. And then on top of that, okay, so maybe you do actually institute some controls on what types of houses can be built. You can do that through code. So
Absolutely.
and but see, here's what happens is when like in a market like this where it's like all high end housing, okay, any low end house gets snapped up by someone who's trying to become a fucking mini landlord, real estate mogul.
Yeah, yeah.
That's kind of bullshit. All right, so that actually does cause some perversions within the market. Now, as a homeowner, I love it because it makes my house worth more.
It
Okay,
does.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but if I was 22-year-old Pat who's just about to get married again, yeah, I can see it, but I just fucking move now, and so then that'll have its own consequences down the road for the city as well. So, I mean, when the city's full of nothing but fucking retirees, and nobody can come in here to afford a house anymore. This is exactly what's happening in Denver. They build a shitload of housing. It's all luxury housing. So you attract X number of rich people, so who do X number of things, but then they can't find anybody to work for them. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that'll have it. I mean, that'll have its own set of consequences with it.
It does.
Yeah,
It does.
you know.
I mean, it's no joke if you want to go out there and say like, just take the dark green and say like, we need some more high density.
They've been doing that around here, man. So those are old folks' homes.
I know they are.
Yeah. So
Well, those ones, and then the ones up over here too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's over where it's going to be a new hospital or whatever. It is.
those are all. That's all assisted living. So. Who was it taught me the trick on? He's always look for the elevators. So if it's an apartment complex and it's got an
I
internal,
think William said that.
yeah, I think he did. Yeah, it's like you got to look for if they don't have external staircases and external entrances. So that means there's a central hallway with fucking elevators so they can get the dead people out of there.
We could have framed that as assisting people with limited mobility.
Right, yeah, it's just people with no mobility.
But no, you're talking about transporting those with no mobility.
No mobility,
Right,
yeah.
right.
No,
Yes.
no motion. Yeah.
Yes, and you take them to, my cities with no cemeteries, only crematoriums.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and skylines.
Yeah.
I always build cemeteries, man. So, I mean, I figured there was some Jews living in my town. So,
Yeah, but how strictly do you enforce that? Do you sit there and say like, "Oh no, sir, you have a tattoo. You will not be buried here."
I don't know, man. So,
That's supposed to be one of the rules of a Jewish cemetery, but
what? No tattoos?
yeah,
No, I didn't know that.
in theory. Well, again, that goes within like the 14 sects of weird. Dude, I used
This
to
is
joke.
Leviticus stuff.
Dude, I used to joke about this with Jews all the time. Like I would, especially. I know this seems stereotypical, but just taking all my rich students and how many of them are Jewish, and of course, like I joke about this. I'm like, are you the kind of Jews that on New Year's, you cast all your sins into a chicken and then throw the chicken? They're like, no, we look down on those people. It's like
I didn't know you could do that.
it's
Does
like,
it work?
but that happens. It's like, Yes,
Yes.
yes. And when I joke about them with the elevators that just go automatically to every floor on Saturday,
Oh,
um,
right.
they're like, yes, that exists. Yes,
That's an
that's
Israel
stupid.
thing,
Yeah,
though. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Um,
You got to have someone come in to, like, fucking open your fridge or whatever it is.
yes, it
Yeah.
being a Shabbat goy, yes. The speaking of cultural, okay, this one made me laugh. So, there's a project that I'm working on with my last Russian student here, and I was making a metaphor. This was medical, trying to emphasize that there's a um, two sides to something where something is uh, and you'll probably know this marketing campaign. It was like, do you remember the commercials? I was like, do you remember the commercials for Kellogg's Frosted Mini Wheats?
Oh, yeah.
She's like, what? And like this doesn't ring a bell at all, does it? She's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And Patrick, what was the basis of that campaign back in the day?
I don't remember, but I just remember that they'd animatedly flip in the spoon. And so there was the one side that's supposed to be healthy for you and the other side that's supposed to be fun.
That was it. Okay, so they explained it as like, so uh you'd have an adult actor and you'd have a child actor that looks like
Oh,
them,
that's right.
right? They'd sit them down at the table, and the adult would say, I like the side that has like all this bran and 14 fortified vitamins and minerals. And then the kid would appear and he'd say like,
All right.
well, I like the
But the
frosted
kid in
side."
me, yeah.
Yeah,
He likes the
exactly,
frosted
exactly.
Saturn. Yeah.
And she had no idea what the fuck I was talking about,
Well,
right?
she's from Russia. She wouldn't.
Well,
So-
and that was the thing when I finally explained it, and I was like, and this is from a breakfast cereal. I got the best response that I'd had in a while. And it just made me laugh. She just looked at me crazy and she just said, "In Russia, we do not eat these things."
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I'm like, what? She's
That
like,
explains a lot.
it just because evidently cereal is not. That is not a Russian breakfast.
It's not a
That is-
manly thing to do. Yeah.
It's not even a question of manly. It's like when you come down to it, it's like, what do you get out of this,
Right.
right? And you're right. It's like because like there's like 3 different meats in your breakfast, or
Right, yeah.
something like this.
Comes with a shot of vodka. So
There is that
Yeah.
too. Yes. Yeah. I can say with full certainty, I saw this thing in the store. I had to try it. Kit Kat cereal is a waste of your time.
yeah.
It is awful.
Yeah.
You tried it?
No, I almost got some for my daughter, and she's like, "Daddy, that'd be gross." And I was like, "Yeah, you're probably right." So
It tastes nothing like Kit Kats. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It tastes vaguely of this like crap chocolate.
Oh.
It has a terrible texture to it. I have no idea why they're selling it. Awful. If you find yourself tempted, thumbs down. Thumbs
Okay.
way down.
Thumbs way down on the Kit Kat cereal.
Way
Did
down.
you ask her about Tasty Period?
Yes,
What did she say? I'm curious.
she said.
Do they get the joke or?
No,
Okay, got it.
no. She said that it makes perfect sense to them,
Okay.
right?
So it just means plain tasty, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what I thought, but
Right. But she's like, but they don't have the right chops to say it that way.
okay.
Right? It doesn't translate well.
So that's why you have to write out period, right?
But and that's when I said like, does it translate to you? Do you understand why this? I said like, yes, I understand why this.
Okay. All right.
Like, is it disgusting to you? She's like, yes.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
But I absolutely asked about that.
Okay, I was just curious.
And it's a funny thing too was like it's like she saw the question coming.
Oh, okay.
I was like, what did they rename those McDonald's?
Yeah.
And she's just like, oh, you're talking about Tasty. And then she made a symbol. She's just like, period.
yeah.
Right. It was weird. But
Yeah, it was unfortunate translation. So, I mean, in terms of like the actual verbiage,
no, and see, the thing is, it works here. That would be great if they actually just use the punctuation.
yeah. That's why I was curious. If they had
Genius.
punctuation.
Absolutely genius.
Yeah.
It would
Tasty.
actually.
Yeah.
it would
I'm gonna
be-
go down to Tasty. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get something
Well,
tasty. Yeah.
see, yeah. So, but you're talking about a society that's not saturated in consumerism, man. So you get
Us?
no them. So I mean, maybe to a certain point, but not like to our level where you do have to start getting clever. So you can't just call a hamburger joint now like hamburgers exclamation mark. You got to think of something. You got to have a special spin on it or something, you know?
Well, no. See, that works. It just depends on what scale. It works basically if you're getting to the avant-garde level. Basically, if you're going to a place like that,
Yeah.
expect to pay about $22 per hamburger.
Yeah, but see, that's already connotating something that's way beyond what they could do with like, because I mean, like the low hanging fruit in marketing is all picked here. So, but there you can say like tasty period. That's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's way low hanging fruit marketing wise. So you couldn't do that here. You could do hamburgers exclamation mark, and you're probably right. And they would probably not have any like decimals on the menu. So. It's like these are 17 cents. This is great.
See, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like if you and I don't know how I'd take it. I don't know if there was a place that opened next to me called Hamburgers exclamation mark. Like there's something about it that seems so honest. I'm like, I have to try this.
Yeah, maybe pizza.
No, because what it always reminds me of is that's how they used to, that's what they'd say about Jeb Bush. They just called him Jeb with the exclamation
mark. Oh yeah, that's
mark.
right. Until what did Donald Trump? What was his name? He wasn't crooked. That was Crooked Hillary. Was it Sleepy Jet or something?
It was like low energy.
Low energy Jet. That's right. Yeah. That wasn't one of his better ones, but it absolutely worked.
But it was accurate.
It was very accurate. So, speaking of which, I was actually seeing some polling data. DeSantis is not doing good, man.
Nope.
It's not fired his guy. I don't think it's gonna work out for him. Yeah.
Nope. The only thing that basically the only reason that he's staying in the race at this point, I would argue, is that if for whatever reason these idiots actually create a true miscarriage of justice and manage to get something to stick.
Oh, on Donald Trump?
Yeah. That's the only reason that I can possibly see that.
Well, even if they get something to stick, it doesn't disqualify him from running for president. So there's almost nothing in the Constitution that prevents you from running from office from a state for even from behind bars. So, or even under any kind of house arrest or anything like that. There are certain states that have restrictions on it, but you have to be convicted in that state.
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, no.
Fourth indictment is going to be.
What's the fourth one?
From Georgia.
Oh. Does that have to do with that Secretary of State dude down there or whatever?
Yeah. Ridiculous. It is. This is an absolute. This is absurd.
Hey man, he's gonna fight them all off.
No, as a matter of fact, like this is the same thing. Like remember that joke, that joke he made where like last time in 2015, and they joked. It's like it was about the wall. He's like and somebody says like that's a stupid idea, and he's like
just got twice as high.
Yeah,
that was good.
This is the same thing where every time they slap him with something,
he
gets 5 more points.
Yeah, exactly. So
no, because
they're not going to
absolutely proves the point where it's like you guys are totally like even the other side at this point is like you guys are kind of misusing the.
I'm not even going to say it's a you guys thing. I just see no coordination on the side of the Democrats on this one whatsoever. So at all, it is individual actors out there who think they can take a shot at the Orange Man. So and they will make their careers doing so. There are a bunch of them. So like the guy in DC, yeah. So. I mean, the only guy who's reluctant about it was the guy down in Florida. So,
I don't know, man. I don't.
That one's federal, though. That one's different, though. That's Espionage Act. That one, if any of them's going to stick, it'll be that one.
Based on what? What the fuck?
He actually did it. He actually kept the documents when they told him to give them back. He actually fucking did that. I get it, but that's actually illegal. So, there you go. All right? What that means is anybody's fucking guess.
What that means is that you have to then prosecute every living president.
Okay, maybe that's what it means. So, but I mean that if you're a prosecutor and you're looking at all the shit that he's done, that one is one. He actually did it. He fucking admitted to doing it. He did that on TV. He did that on Twitter. So it's like that's the easiest one. So that's the one. If any of them stick, it's going to be that one. The question is, can you find a jury of 12 people in fucking Florida who are willing to actually stick with that. No. So, like I was saying the other day, you can find jurors if you start pulling them from the moon.
Again, look at his argument, and he's absolutely right on this. He's like, all right, well, I'm the person that has I'm the worst person who can declassify these.
Yeah, but he didn't. So I know.
And again, that's the same thing where every past president has had the same thing. It's like the merit was by merit of having it, they declassify.
Yeah, I get it. So, but I'm just saying from a legal standpoint, that's the one that actually has some teeth. All the other stuff is just fucking bread and circuses for people who are trying to make their careers. So,
I can't even say that with full confidence. I can't. What? I can't play these as individual people at this point. I can't. Because it's the
well, the one in Florida, that one probably does have a little bit of Justice Department behind it because that guy's not an independent actor. So no, but the others are. So the others are. These are state guys. They're not feds.
I understand that, but that's not to say that there's no you. I can't prove it, but to sit there and say like that there haven't been discussions about this, I sincerely doubt it.
I don't know. You know, I mean,
I sincerely doubt it.
But between who? So, I mean, like, would the governor of that state want, like, put pressure on a fucking, like, you know, the district attorney to do that? I don't know. So, I don't know the political landscape there. I don't know if they're all blue states. I don't know if they're half and half. Florida's obviously half and half.
Georgia.
So, what is it?
Georgia is.
I thought it was Urkel.
Yeah, it's kind of it's sort of half and half. Yeah.
So, what county is he being prosecuted in down there? That's going to matter because that's going to be like, okay, if it's Atlanta, that guy's blue. So if it's like fucking Macon, that guy's red.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know the fucking landscape. That's why I don't think there's actually, I mean, and if it was actually coordinated, they should have done a fucking better job of it. Okay. Because having these things come out like a little bit here, a little bit there, this one's got delayed, this one got moved up and stuff like that. You'd have to be stupid to do it that way. So I don't know, man. The like I said, the only one that I think is interesting and dangerous is the documents one. So the rest of them, the DC one is
total horseshit.
It's complete horseshit. I mean, like the leap in legal logic for each, because each one of them is a conspiracy charge. Okay, the leap in legal logic for each one of those is so far it'll hit appeals before it even goes to trial. So yeah. That's why the Florida one's dangerous, because that one's pretty open and shut. So,
well, I mean, yes,
it is.
No.
Getting a jury to convict him, that's the no part. So that's not going to be easy at all.
I mean, that's the tough one. Is I mean, for me to declare that open and shut, I'm like, all right, well then,
legally, it's a violation of statute. The question is there a punishment that's appropriate in this case? So. And that's what you would decide as a jury of your peers. He's got like 3 great defenses right off the bat. You already brought up one. Everybody else does it. So this is selective prosecution. That's a valid defense. Okay. The other one is I didn't know about it. That's patently fucking false. So if he hangs his hat on that one, he's
that seems pretty stupid.
Yeah, he's going to lose. All right, but the third one on top of that is like, hey, I didn't know the procedure. Okay, so if I thought I kept these and that meant they were mine, okay, and nobody advised me otherwise, that's actually a valid defense in that case, because then it would be incumbent upon prosecution to actually prove that he knew that.
Right.
That's going to be hard to do. So,
well, because at that point it's going to be like, so why did you keep these knowing that you have the power to declassify these?
Bingo. It's a great defense.
Right.
So, yeah. So
because otherwise you'd just say like, well, I just
but the question of whether or not he did something is very clear in this case. They asked for him back twice. He didn't give him back twice, and he hung on to him all the way up to the point in time where they raided his ass. And he knew about that a month before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, whether or not he kept them, that's a fact. Okay. Now, is that a crime worthy of punishment? I argue that's up to 335 million of us in a year and a half.
And this again, Patrick. This is why I have such a problem with this. Is the ticky tack nonsense that they're basically trying to.
Nonsense. Yeah.
Huh?
Oh no, it's all ticky tack.
Yeah, the lengths that they're going through at this point, right? to basically do anything they can to disqualify this man. Again, to me, going through this, through the Department of Justice, so like, this is fucking ridiculous.
But nothing disqualifies him from running. He can run in an orange jumpsuit.
I don't know if that's entirely
That's
true.
totally true. So, in fact, it's happened many times. So
somebody in jail ran?
Yeah. So not for presidents. So, but
Right.
other state offices. Yeah. So famously, there was a mayor in Boston who ran and won from fucking prison. So if you read the Constitution, there's nothing in the Constitution that prevents someone from running. So some state parties have their own rules. Okay, like Florida's a problem because Florida actually has a rule so that if you're convicted in Florida of a crime, you are not allowed to run for public office or vote in this state until you've actually done your time, whatever that is. Now, that might be 5 minutes, so, or it might be deferred sentence, in which case all his rights would be restored at that point in time too. So, but that remains to be seen. But that's one of the states where you have that. Most states don't. Like this state, absolutely not. I mean, you can be fucking Charlie Manson, and if you petition, you can get on the fucking ballot in this state. So, if you get the signatures, he's got that.
This is the problem. Is
what?
This is not the direction that you want to be taking politics.
No, absolutely not. Nor do I want them to impeach Joe Biden because we're just going to do this every fucking 2 years.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it needs to stop, man. So
now, granted, I will say this: more and more stuff keeps coming about this every single day that looks worse and worse.
Oh, it's getting way worse. And they're going to get his boy. They're going to get his boy.
It's up to 20 million.
Yeah, I know. So, well, I mean,
that have come to the fan, and I can
know.
also say this. They did, Ashley Biden copped to that being her diary.
Oh, did he?
She did.
I'm pretty sure it was her diary.
Yeah, so she copped to that being hers.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it was. Like I said, when we were talking about that, if it was faked, it was really well done. So.
Now, that was a recent thing where she admitted to that just a few months ago. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen that.
Because there was some, down on this. But yeah, she copped this.
Well, there was. And, like, who's the guy who got his hands on that? Who's that guy?
I don't remember.
Oh, he's a filmmaker, dude. Who worked for Ben Shapiro.
Probably Matt Walsh.
I think it was
Matt
Matt
Walsh.
Walsh. No, it wasn't Matt Walsh. It was a different guy.
Same dude that fucking does all the UFO shit.
It might have been, actually.
Would you know his name inside out? What is his name?
I can't remember. Yeah. Yeah, but like, no, I'm still gonna stand by my prediction. I don't think Joe's actually gonna run. I think he's gonna take a bullet for his boy. So,
again,
that'll be weird. What happens to Democrats at that point in time? They'll be screwed.
I mean, I don't know. This again, I had to bookmark this. This is a cell phone video. This is basically of a DC officer on January 6th saying that they're going undercover as Antifa in the crowd.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that.
I mean, again, this is
like a DC officer or FBI?
DC.
Oh, okay. That doesn't.
I mean, this is the same kind of shit where it's like you guys are trying to. It's. I don't want this to be politics. I don't want politics to be this.
I
don't feel that this is how it's been in the past. Like, if you can point to me towards certain things, you can sit there and say like, all right, Iran Contra, might have been a thing or whatever.
It was a thing.
No, it was a thing. No, of course I know it was a thing, but at the same time, like, I don't recall it being something where it was being directed at. Basically like during the run.
Yeah. So, there's different generations though, man. So, you're talking about a whole generation of people in charge who had witnessed the fucking biggest war on the face of the goddamn planet. So, had ever seen and killed 80 million people. And so,
that's a lot of people.
Yeah, it is a lot of people. And so they took things a little bit more serious. So, I mean, Donald Trump's a man baby, so who has some really good ideas from time to time, but he has no discipline. So yeah, because he's never done anything like that. He's never seen anything like that. Man, it takes shit like that to actually discipline you.
Well, you got to remember, like in his case, like everything that he's done has worked for him.
It has. It's worked great.
And that's the problem is there's
yeah, that's
because you and I look at this like, well, fuck, this didn't work. I have to do something else. I either have to do this harder,
Or stop.
or I have to do something different.
Yeah.
And I've got a whole bunch of nails that are like bent sideways and shit. Because
Broken
I went
screw
harder.
heads,
How many
yeah.
times? Like, I mean, this was, yeah, broken screws. I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about? The thing where it's like, if I pound in the nail and if I change my trajectory a little bit,
Yeah.
then I'll get it to go in straight because somehow I'm thinking it's going to curve in the wood like this and go out.
Yes,
No, you
I've
just
done it, yeah.
fuck it. Of course you have.
Yeah,
Like, I
I've
fucked
totally
it up.
done it.
But you and I both know it's like, pull it out,
Start over.
do it right.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact,
Drill a
drill
pilot.
But that's the thing is Trump's whole life has never needed a pilot hole.
No, that's true.
No, it's just like, well, I hit the nails, and even if they don't go in, I still make money. So there's no
Somehow,
reason
yeah.
for him to turn around and say, like, I need to change strategies.
Well, he might in a second term. You never know. So, I mean, I never wish, even when he won, it was like, hey, man, I hope he does good. So, you know.
Same thing
Yeah.
goes for the ass clown that's in the seat right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, yeah, I don't think he's going to last too long, but I do think that he's done a couple things right. So I'll give him credit for those. So, and like same thing with Donald Trump. So I give him credit for the things too. So the whole decoupling with China, that's great. So, you know, he saw that writing on the wall way before anybody else did. It was smart. So, you know,
Yo, man, that situation over there is dire.
it's fucking bad.
I had no idea. I had no idea those motherfuckers were like stockpiling food and gold.
They're getting ready for a war, man. So, yeah, they're. So I listen to this guy. He's great. He's this international.
What do you know?
He's got the best description of Xi Jinping that I've heard in a long time. So, and this is a scary parallel, and I don't think history repeats itself. I do agree with Mark Twain; it does rhyme from time to time. But
Yeah.
But he says, you know, Xi Jinping. A lot of people are mischaracterizing him as like a Stalin or a Hitler, and he's like, he's not either of those. He's more dangerous than both of them. He's a Mussolini. So yeah, and he says the problem with Mussolini was, you know, your original fascist and things like that. It's that
The OG.
he was the OF. Yeah. Yeah. The guy.
All right.
So
Please continue.
who had amassed quite a bit of power around him through structures that were baked into the Italian state. He's very popular with people because they didn't want to talk shit about him. So, because talking shit about him was talking shit about Italy. Okay. So there you go.
Yeah.
There's parallel number one. All right. Hello, Winnie the Pooh. So, right. We're really picking on China, not just Xi Jinping. So, but the thing about him that made him particularly dangerous was he was steering his country towards war from the beginning because he wanted to build a fighting people. So he said, we are the inheritors of this great heritage of the Roman Empire. We've been kind of shitty for a long time. You know, World War I didn't really work out for us. The Germans beat the shit out of us every chance they got. So no, we're gonna be a fighting people, which forced everybody else around him to kind of look at him like Italy was France and England's ally in World War I.
Right.
So we're talking 25 years here.
Yeah.
Where they had completely flipped over, and that was just because he just all he did was talk shit. So, and of course, it forced everybody else to ally against him. So, it's what got him to buddy up to Hitler. So, even though they didn't really like each other, Hitler had no respect for Mussolini. He thought he was a fraud. He was probably right. But Mussolini's the one who kicked off World War II. So, it started off in Europe and Ethiopia and Africa and stuff like that.
In Spain,
Yeah, it's Spain, so, and all that shit. And so, you know, the scary thing about Xi Jinping is that he doesn't, I mean, his speeches lately have been horrifying. So they've been all about war. So, and preparing ourselves and doing this and doing that. And we got to start growing our own food because, you know, we're so dependent on the world for protein to feed our animals, you know? So he's listening to some smart people, but he's taking the wrong message from it. And the thing is they get in a war, they're going to get wrecked in about 15 minutes. So they're going to get wrecked. What do you do when you lost your entire navy in 30 minutes? So what button do you push, Jeff? That's gonna be bad.
It depends. So there's a certain let's say it this way. The the saving grace of this planet,
Mm-hmm.
right, has still been that the decision to murder billions has to still be made by a human being,
Yeah.
right? And it's worked out so far.
So far, yeah.
Now, it only takes one,
Yep.
okay? But that's sort of the question is like, all right, so are you gonna be that guy? Is that the legacy that you're going to leave behind? I don't know.
I don't know either, man. So, it's just it's scary, man. It wasn't that way a year ago.
Oh
No.
no. What are they gonna do? Fucking nothing is going right there. There's the
Mm-mm.
so what do you do when the house of cards that you've been building for 20 years
Yeah.
is literally crumbling around you, right?
Man, it was fine like in 2012, like 10 years ago. I mean, if they had stayed on that course, they would be the biggest economy in the world right now. We probably would be pretty fucking cool with each other. So, it's one guy. There is no such thing as China. There's this thing called Xi Jinping land because he controls everything in it.
Right.
So yeah, and so the solution to this is regicide.
You know, and
The Chinese are responsible for that, man. Get on that. Tyrannicide. That's the word that I'm looking for.
I don't know if that's a coined word. If
Kill the
not,
tyrant, right?
I'm just saying at this
Yeah.
point, if it's not coined, somebody should be paying you a quarter every time they say it because it's brilliant. No, I mean, look, we do have sort of like a built-in. We've got sort of like a tyrant detector that goes off like I don't know, the CO2 detector in your basement, where like if things really are getting that bad, or even give the appearance of getting that bad, there's enough people that remember it's like when in the course of human events, right? And they can recite that part.
Oh yeah, yeah,
They'll make it happen.
yeah.
I don't encourage it
No.
because that's usually not the best way to solve it. Shit, there was a fucking just like 6 hours ago, there was an assassination in was it Brazil?
Oh really? I didn't see
Yeah,
that.
yeah. The
Man,
fucking-
that's dude. I don't want to jinx nothing, but I am surprised we haven't had one of those in the United States. I am surprised we have not had a public official eat it in the last like 2-3 years. So
dude, I wonder that myself
yeah,
sometimes. I really do.
did they kill Lula, the president down there?
Well, give me 1 second. I just saw the news pop up. But
That'd be big fucking news. Wasn't he a communist? Well, I guess we better find out who it was first.
right.
Yeah.
Before we
Yeah, but that's the solution. That's the only solution in China, man. This guy that I listen to, man, he's a strategist guy. And he says he said something really interesting about Sun Tzu that I've never heard somebody say before.
what do you say?
He says it's not a book of strategy, it's a book of dirty tricks. And he's absolutely right. I've read that thing several times, trying to pull pearls of wisdom out of it, but he's absolutely right. It's a book of dirty tricks. And so he said this is how the Chinese fight wars, and this is why they always lose, is because they think they can be clever about something. And he said this is really dangerous in the situation right now because that could be, I don't know, a tactical nuclear warhead dropped on Guam. So, which would result in us scraping down China to the sidewalks in 27 minutes. So, you know,
I'm not gonna fight with you on that. Look, I gotta tell you,
Yeah.
like, my mom said something very similar. I mean,
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, yeah. The way she explained it, right? And she would do this in metaphor, and she's not wrong. She's not right either. Because, God bless her, anti other Asian racist heart. I'll tell you what she thinks about Filipinos one of these days. She just broke it down like this. She's just like Chinese people have special uniforms.
okay.
So, you know what they are? I'm like, what? It's like They have their, the sleeves that go over like this.
Yeah.
It's like, why? It's like, why does that bother you? She's like, you can't see their hands, Jeffrey.
Oh yeah.
That's why they wear those.
Right.
That's what I think of these people.
Right.
That's their entire modus operandi.
Right.
Is like, if I can't see your hands, I won't witness you robbing me. I won't witness you. I mean, that was the thing. And this is not to say like, all right, this is not to say that I'm condemning the Chinese people. It's just that in some cases here, like certain cultures, certain cultural aspects don't die out unless you force them. Right?
Right. Yeah. Germans and militarism. Yeah. So.
But you guys are always involved. You guys
You're
are
always there, man.
like,
why are we always coming to your house, man?
it's not even. Yeah, I mean, there's that, but it's also like if there's some sort of like global calamity going on. It's like even if you were innocent this time, we're still gonna have cops knock on your door and say like, "Look, we don't think it was you, but we have to check you out."
Yeah. So
that's what it means to be a usual suspect.
Yeah, you just got a common build. So
you've got priors.
Got priors, man.
Yeah, you got priors. Yes, we're gonna come looking for you because there's a good chance it's like you're on a parole violation, dog.
Well, Putin fixed that, man. So
again, it's the same thing. Like these two idiots over there are supposed to balance each other out in terms of like, look, I don't like you, you don't like me. You're my closest neighbor. We share a shit ton of border.
Oh, the Chinese and the Russians.
Yeah,
they hate each other. So yeah,
they do, but Russia's busy.
China starts some shit. Russia will stop being busy very quickly. So because all the shit's gonna get boxed up and rolled over to the Pacific. So that war stops as soon as people stop paying attention to it, man. So...
All right. Well, how does it end with a like, hey, we're sorry, or does it end with a, we'll be back?
It gets frozen. See that's a whole nother episode, man.
All right.
I'm
sorry.
That one's just bad. Yeah. So that short take on that one is that war is going to be going on for another 10 fucking years, and it's going to kill 3 million people. So, I mean, our Ukrainians are down to the point in time where they'll fight the Russians off the fucking sharpened sticks if that's all they got. They're that mad. So there you go. That's my last thought.
That's that's a fair place to go. I apologize. I could not find the Brazilian story, but look it up. Yeah, it was.
This isn't a breaking news story.
No, that's not what we do here.
No,
It's God. All right.
All right. I'm Pat.
I'm Jeffrey.
Hitting the button.
Okay. Yeah. There you go.